I don't know if you guys saw the tweet or not. I don't know if you guys saw this, but did you see Frank Martin's tweet? Frank Martin, he's as classy a man and a coach as there is in college basketball. I got so much respect for him, and trust me when I tell you, even though he really wanted to win the game tonight to be able to advance and skip around the SEC tournament, I know Frank is happy for me and my coaching staff and Auburn. His tweet had something to do with the environment that we created here. He said that it's, complimenting it's just about how passionate the fans were, and not one single rude person, that Auburn was cheering for its team in a real positive way, as opposed to, participating in all the other stuff. So I just really appreciate Frank. I've been coaching a long time, and I've won championships, but and I've said this before, but coaches can help teams win games, but coaches do not win championships. They just don't. You ask Gus what went on in that locker room this year, and you ask him how those kids stayed together and battled and believed and challenged one another and relied on one another. I know what his answer would be, and it's the same thing in my locker room. Having gone through some of the adversity during the course of the season did not sidetrack us, and nobody made excuses for being shorthanded. The guys wanted to make history. They truly did. And tonight, it was against some odds. South Carolina come in winning 3 out of 4. When they score 70, they win, and they score 70 tonight. But we hung in there early when they were playing great and we were playing awful. We finally started to attack out of some spacing. Bryce Brown got back to doing what he does, and as if he can see it, he can make it. And I thought Jared and our team did a really good job of getting him the ball down there in the corner, and he was the difference for us offensively. I thought our zone was really effective in the second half, and we got big rebounds. That is a dominating offensive rebounding team. We got 28 defensive rebounds to their 12 offensive. And because there were a lot of shots that were missed, and we turned them over 20 times. And when you hang in on the boards and you turn somebody over, it just speaks to the effort and the resiliency. Winning a championship at Auburn means a lot, because when I got here, we were winning championships in everything, and we still are. And I just looked at men's basketball as just not quite holding up our end, whether it be in the classroom, with our APR, or with our graduation rate, or with our service to the community, or our relationship with FCA, or certainly being competitive in the SEC. And just finally, to win the league wire to wire in a year when this league is as good as almost, I don't know any of you have ever seen it better, top to bottom, or bottom to top, is a tremendous accomplishment. This championship means more in 2018 because how great our league is.
Bruce, can you talk about second half, what you guys did differently? It looked like you got the tempo up.
Well, they turned it over 12 times in the first half, 8 in the second. I thought the zone, the matchup, was really effective. And our guys did a good job of communicating. And so South Carolina struggled a little bit more in the second half, I thought, against the defense. And then offensively, when I got them in front of me, we're able to help get into spacing, and we got better looks. And Jared did a good job of just calming down. I thought we rushed so much in the first half. In the second half, we were much calmer.
Take a look at the fast breaks. It's 20-0.
Yeah. Well, South Carolina extended a little bit, and we were able to get that ball to Jared, who attacked. And the pressure bothered us at South Carolina. It made us better here this afternoon.
Was there anything you said to Bryce this week or during the first kind of 10 minutes when he was struggling? What was kind of the key to kind of, just like that, turning it on again?
Bryce, one of the great things about coaching Bryce is he's accountable and he also recognizes his strengths and he recognizes his weaknesses. And so when Bryce, he is such an amazing competitor and he wants to win so badly, and nobody's harder on Bryce than Bryce is. And his mind is constantly at work. And so what we try to do this week, and I want to give one of my assistant coaches, his father, Cedric Brown, a shout out, because Ced knows Bryce. They're boys. They're connected. And Ced, as a father, his job is to support his son. But nobody knows him better than he does. I don't know Bryce like his father does. And we work together to try to get him back in, to get his mind. He was beating himself up over losses. And he was being too critical of himself. So we just gave him the confidence, got him to catch and stick a little bit more as opposed to pat it, and it worked out great.
On the subject of Bryce, it looked like he had a really great defensive game tonight.
Who's that?
Bryce on defense, he looked like he played with a lot of energy.
Look, out front, he's as good as there is. And he, Davion, and him are really, really good out front. And so whether we're playing zone or matchup or man-to-man full court, we put Bryce out front and don't even just then build your matchups from there. He should never be on the stacks. And I'll blame myself in the Florida loss for not having him out front and having him in the stacks. And then, I thought there were lots I thought Horace Spencer stepped up huge because, Silva's really, really good. And if we don't have Horace in there physically, just pounding and battling, Silva just dominates us. And Chuma Akiki got 8 man-sized defensive rebounds. Everybody, you look at Chuma as a guy that can stretch it and shoot it and got skills. He's got a little toughness to him, too. Get that from his mother. And, he had a big rebound, 9 rebounds, not a turnover, 3 blocks. Stepped up big. I thought Jared did a much better job quarterbacking our club, particularly in the second half, and he made plays, shots, free throws, rebounds, defensive plays, and the little general delivered tonight.
I know you talked about what this means for Auburn and the program, but to you personally, with what's going on this year, and you turn when this game ends, get your son next to you, you get Chad Pruitt, who has been through a whirlwind year. What was that moment?
Right.
After a tough week and a half, again.
Yeah.
What was that?
Think about your great moments, whatever they are. Birth of a child, something special that happened in your life. Think about your greatest moments. One of the things that made him great is the people you shared the moment with. Think about it. That's what makes it so special. To share this championship with the men in that locker room is what makes it special. We did this, and we did it together. And so, for me, that's the first thing that I thought about. You got to put up with me. That's a full-time job, putting up with me. And my players have to do it because I'm wrong about half the time. My coaching staff has to do it, but we bring out the best in each other, and the results have been amazing this year.
What does it say about these players that, given everything that happened in September, not having Austin and Dengel the entire year, losing Anthony down the stretch,
Yeah.
and to still pull it out?
Do you know how much they love Dengel and Austin and Anthony? And you know those kids are putting so much pressure to deliver a championship to those kids because they couldn't be out there delivering it for us. I'm just telling you, that's that kind of bond. And so, yeah, it meant a lot. We went on a foreign trip this summer, and we came back as a really close group. And it's one of the great things that the NCAA allows us to do is travel every 4 years. Gosh, it was a one. And for Auburn to invest in our program, we had several donors also that stepped up so we could make a trip of a lifetime. Again, a shared experience. We shared experiences as we went through the year. Our win at Dayton was huge coming off of that Charleston Classic when we weren't sure, to go on the road and real hostile and play well enough to win. And look at the year Murray State's having. Look at the year Middle Tennessee's having. And then the way the league was so competitive. So it's 25-6 and pretty hard earned.
Do you feel like this win relieves a burden on these guys in that locker room before they go to St. Louis and before they hit an NCAA tournament, especially after, again, what had happened the last week and a half?
I would say that the fact that we've led it from the beginning, had we not finished the job, that could have been the focus. And I hope that you outstanding writers wouldn't have taken that approach, that I wouldn't have read about the fact that we'd lost 4 out of 5 or whatever may have been the case. You might have had to write it because it would have been true, but that wasn't going to define this team. I mean, think about it. The championship is nice. We'll hang a banner. We'll put a number up on a banner. Would these kids have been any less resilient, tough, gritty, hardworking had we lost the game? And the answer is no. But because we finished the job and won the championship, it'll be different in the history books. But I wanted to make sure in the locker room it's not different. God gets the glory, win or lose, and the lessons that are learned, win or lose. And so I think that's part of the reason why we were blessed.
Bruce, to be only one of 2 coaches to win SEC titles at different schools, and considering what you've been through this year in the preseason, and then not only that, but the show cause penalty, the way things ended at Tennessee where you won your first SEC title, and then to come back in the SEC and win another. I know you probably haven't had time to sit back and think about it, but what do you think of that accomplishment and everything you've been through?
I appreciate that. And I don't look at myself that way. I'm going to be 58 years old in March. I've been doing this since I was 14. And so you could look at some stumbling blocks along the way, a couple. I'm looking at 40 years of being a teacher and a coach of so many different teams. I really don't see myself that way. I'm a teacher and a coach. We're graduating kids. We're making a difference in their lives. This is a tough business. For me, the fact that we've been able to bring championships every stop, that matters. That does matter a little bit. But more than anything, it's the difference that we make in kids' lives and coaching staff's lives and on the campus life. I just look at you guys could look at the show cause, or you could look at a penalty, or could look at, we're going through a process with the NCAA right now. Great. There's a lot of people that got to go through that process. That's part of the process. You go through it. It doesn't define you. And it won't define the season.
It didn't end up mattering, but was that the quickest you've gotten a technical foul? And how much was that this is the most important game of the season. How much was that in the back of your head the rest of the way through, because you got to be careful, right?
Yeah, it's definitely the quickest I've ever gotten one. And I know I probably reacted, or, like I was having a fit. I have fits. So I was sorry I got hit, but anyways, it didn't affect the outcome.
But is it in the back of your head that this is the most important game and I've got to make it through 38?
No, you're going to have to live with me for 38 more minutes, okay? I'm not changing. I'm too old to change. This is who I am. Deal with it.
What do you think of the confetti gun going off early? And then
Well,
South Carolina gets within 6.
My first thought was, act like you've been there before, until I realized it's a long time since we've been there before, so we don't have to act like it. But you know what? I wasn't even mad. I felt like bad for however it happened. Somebody must have made a mistake. I would have felt badly if whoever made the mistake or whatever it was, they feel awful. This coach doesn't. That's part of my family. I make mistakes every day out there. Just made a mistake. We must have pulled the lever too soon. I wasn't angry at all.
Bruce, how is your relationship with the student body here this season?
I look at the situation with the students. One of the things I really enjoy, and I recommend this to coaches if they can, or universities, I try to get to as many orientations in the summer as I can. And I go in there and visit with the students. I don't talk anything about Auburn basketball. I talk to them as one of the coaches on campus. I challenge them. I try to remind them of why they're here, of to take advantage of. I start coaching them up a little bit and asking them to represent. I talk to them a little bit about it wasn't easy to get into this school. And the reason why it wasn't easy to get in because of the people that came before you and the job they've done. And what does it mean to be an Auburn man and an Auburn woman? What is Auburn family all about? Now you're here as students. You got a responsibility. They don't get talked to like that very much by anybody but their parents. But their coach could talk to them that way. And as a result, you build a bit of a relationship with them. And I make sure they understand, look, I'm here to serve. We could not win without the jungle, without the support of the student body. So when they ask me to support a cause on campus or go and visit a class, gosh, it's the least I can do as a member of the staff here. So if our relationship is good, it's because whatever we do it together. And we all represent Auburn. So tonight around the country, Auburn is champions of the SEC, the most competitive conference in the country. That makes every Auburn student, every Auburn alum, every citizen of this state proud of Auburn.
Rich, you said a couple of weeks ago that you would vote for the SEC Player of the Year, the best player on the team that wins.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about it now that you have won the SEC?
Well,
your guys that are going to be up for it.
Yeah, I am. We're going to have several guys that are up for the award. I don't know if Tennessee is winning. Are they winning?
Down by 10.
Down by 10? How much time to go?
2 minutes left in the first half.
You know, for me, I had said I'm voting Rick Barnes as Coach of the Year, and because he's done an amazing job and a great hire to hire Rick Barnes as the coach there. I was Tennessee. I coached him 6 years, lived there 9. He's a good man. No, he's a great man and a really good coach. And they were picked near the bottom 2. So it'd be an honor to share the title with Tennessee. An honor to share it with them. Because I think the things that I would say about that team are some of the things that people would say about my team. The player of the year to me is Auburn. That's my vote.
Bruce, you've coached a lot of years. How does this team compare for mental toughness to any team you've coached?
This team's ranks right up there with the best I've had. And trusting each other and relying on each other. You know, we get shorthanded when you only got 8. It's been the most resilient, focused, self-motivated team I've ever coached.